Platoon, today is a red day, and what they are going to ask you is, have you had enough, right? They tried playing dead. They tried taking the short interest, dropping it like a rock over here on Ortex. We've been following it for the last few weeks, all the way from the high teens down to 10% as recently as yesterday. Right now, we're not only going to remind you what is the actual logic of being able to have days of feast and days of famine when it comes to hedge fund reactions to these stocks, and what Mr. Can't Stop, Won't Stop, GameStop has to say about it. What do people not understand? Doesn't matter if GME cited cancer, they would have attacked. So a 5 million share offering doesn't matter, just an excuse. So what he's referencing is this article down here. And as we move through it, make sure you guys have your thinking caps on, sticking to the end, because we're going to pull some of this Glenn right here for 1,800 likes. If this video isn't up there yet, comment out which like you are. And look at Professor Meatball. There's a brand new bed. It's because we're sleeping on these dips. Nothing but tasty sales. But let me do the FUD analysis for what Quartz is saying, for what Bloomberg is saying. Money stuff, maybe GameStop is good now. And most importantly, what we have Melissa saying here. Melissa Lee was the one that said, what about those naked shorts? In fact, Andrew Top makes it pretty clear that we made so much fun of Melissa that she now runs with the naked short story. And she brought on a ex-SEC lawyer to talk directly about the naked shorts and how the SEC may or may not even be trying to persecute it. So let's take a listen first, then analyze the FUD, and then finally give you the breakdown on what indicators we are watching for the end of day tomorrow. Just make sure that you understand there's an Austin Tobit announcement at the end of this video, so watch out for that.
Going to watch shares of GameStop after its report. It is that after our session lows down more than 13%. This name just one of a handful of stocks with a high short interest that have been the target of the Reddit trade. And at its peak in January, GameStop, remember, had a short interest of 140%. How does that happen, you ask? Well, Robinhood CEO testified before Congress that, quote, the ability for the same share to be shorted an indefinite number of times is somewhat of a pathology that should be fixed. Shorting still front and center in the Reddit trade, many pointing to the recent swings in AMC being driven by so-called naked shorts, the illegal practice of short selling a stock without actually locating that stock to borrow. So is naked shorting happening in this market? Our next guest says, yes, it is. Let's bring in Jacob Frankel, former SEC enforcement lawyer. He is now a partner at Dickinson Wright. Jacob, great to have you with us.
Good to be back with you.
Simple as that. Naked shorting exists in this market, even though it's an illegal practice.
Well, it's not entirely illegal, but yes, in the large cap market, it absolutely would be illegal if a party is unable to locate shares, borrow the shares, deliver the shares. Yes, under those circumstances, it is illegal. And it's something that's been going on in the market for a long time. What really has happened here is companies like GameStop, AMC, all these meme stocks have brought naked short selling really to the forefront of.
That's the key here, is that nothing has changed. Naked short selling is sort of illegal, whatever he means. You think he would be a little more precise with his words as SEC enforcement lawyer, but he does say it is fully illegal for these large caps like AMC and GME. But most importantly is that this isn't an old thing. This is the crux on many other times the financial world was almost at a standstill or the precipice of a major cliff, and AMC and GME is finally helping educate you. So as a reminder, we are on our way up to 200,000 subscribers, having passed 100K just a couple days ago. So if you haven't pressed that subscribe or that bell button, it is time. It is time to start investing in your financial freedom. Let's go.
The market's interest. This thing has been going on for a very long time in a small cap market, and it's very much a problem.
Is it? Can you give us an idea of how big of a problem? You said it's existed for a long time. Is it rampant? Is it in small pockets of the market? Why isn't the SEC doing something about it if it is in fact illegal?
The short answer is I think it's difficult to find, and it's also not a sexy type of case. I mean, the fact is the SEC has not brought many naked short cases. I mean, they did bring one about 3 weeks ago.
This is getting to the crux of what he is about to say. right? It's not that there's no naked shorting. It's that we can't find them. It's not that there's no theft or grand theft auto. It's that we can't find them. It's not that there's no murders, detective. It's that we can't find them.
In 2021, involving more than 90 naked short sales from December 26 through July 2017, broker-dealer made $1.6 million in commissions that took 4 years for the SEC to bring that case. 2012, case against the Wolfson brothers, same thing. It took the SEC 5 years to bring a case, and what they charged were stock locate issues, order marking, failure to borrow, delivery violations. We're not seeing charges of fraud or manipulation. I think the reason for that is these cases are hard to find, they're tedious to put together, and it really is a challenge for the SEC to bring these cases. But now that it is in the discussion, hopefully we will see more naked court cases, and particularly seeing it charged as fraud or manipulative activity.
Jay, it's Karen. Thanks for being on. So if I were to try to think about how much of this naked shorting is actually going on in, let's say, an AMC, is that a lot of intraday shorting like we were talking about during the commercial break? Is it up to an option expiration? And
they're trying to dance around the idea that there are short ladder attacks or multiple different strategic shorting, intraday shorting that the hedge funds are employing. Essentially, what are the dirty tricks? What do you even know, Mr. SEC man? Do you have any idea what criminal activity they're getting up to, specifically in AMC and GME? So you can't say that CNBC isn't dancing around the block for this one, asking hard questions to someone who might not even have a good answer. Listen.
Then kind of gets flattened out. How big is it, do you think, around aside from those two things?
Well, that's really a challenge. Is we really don't know, because a lot of it turns on, it's a very firm, specific analysis. Is there coordination? Is there manipulative activity? Is it intraday, as you point out? I mean, when I was at the Commission and Enforcement, I did a manipulation case that involved marking the close at a quarter end, looking only at 30 minutes of trading. It does not have to be over an extended period of time. The issue is identifying it. And the people who see it or see it most closely are those who are in the market. And then the question then is, are they willing to bring that information directly to the attention of the SEC, which often then means also poking around in that company's books. So, and I should also add, the short sellers for a long time, and to this day, are an important source of information for the SEC's enforcement division.
Isn't that sad? The short sellers have to basically rat on themselves or have a whistleblower or some sort of crazy bureaucratic hoop following until something can happen. So every time we're like, look, SEC, specifically now on a day that AMC is down 12%, GME is down 25%, we are looking at SEC and saying, hello? Do you see this? And SEC is like, well, we really have to rely on the criminals to turn themselves in because the data they provide is really important. Let's listen.
By no means do I want to suggest the SEC has turned a blind eye. On the other hand, we really have not seen that many cases over the years involving fraud on the short side.
I like how you say you don't want to say the SEC is turning a blind eye, but basically implying that the SEC is turning a blind eye, because that's exactly what you're doing, Jay. I mean,
called out. That is the clap back attitude we need from CNBC. Can we get these two on a shirt? Oh, wait, we actually might be able to. They just called out the SEC lawyer telling us that SEC is probably not looking that closely. SEC is probably not really up on its game, but it'll try. He doesn't want to whistleblow that they suck, and yet the hosts are really pushing him on it.
If I'm watching this, I'm thinking, you know what? The SEC doesn't want to investigate the source of so many tips that it gets into other manipulative practices or deceptive practices, et cetera.
But in fairness, it also is a matter of the information actually being brought to the attention of the SEC. In other words, while the SEC has powerful tools, if you think about it, what would satisfy the market most from an enforcement perspective? To see a naked short case brought quickly, so it has an impact. And I shared with you two examples where it took 4 years and 5 years to actually bring the case. The problem is the agency needs to see the conduct.
The agency, what would make us happy when it comes to naked shorts It would be for them to stop. You just said that they're illegal. What will make people happy these days? It seems like this is a pretty lost cause when it comes down to the potential of where the SEC could go. I'm still seeing potential, but as at this point, we might as well try and let the criminals police themselves, which is exactly what the DTCC new regulations are trying to do. So let's take one final look at what CNBC wants to point at: meme stocks hitting a wall. As a reminder, we were covering what thank you, Andrew, Can't Stop, Won't Stop, GameStop said. If GameStop cited cancer, they would still be attacked. So, whoa, thank you for holding up that. The CNBC story here is saying meme stocks hit a wall on Thursday with GameStop, AMC, and Clover down big. This is now the 4D chess. They propped up Clover. They were trying to prop up Wendy's too as a look at this stock. Isn't that great? Wow, wow, wow. That stock is going to go places. Wouldn't it be fun if that stock blew up? Hint, hint. And then Clover and, of course, Wendy, but we don't really care. Clover dropped all the way down to, hold on. I thought I had it over here. Yeah, here. 16% down off of a high. Remember, it pre-market, the highest it got was 20% on top of $20. That was an 85% rip, right? A pump and dump that orchestrated by Citadel having a stake inside Clover. This was a clear manipulation tactic to say, hey, we told you that these stocks are dangerous, such as Clover. We have only been telling you about AMC and GME and the potential of these stocks for 5 straight months, non-stop. So trying to throw the Matt's new CEO under the bus. GameStop has been running for the exits. So watch how this sentence is formulated. GameStop investors run for the exits after they appoint a brand new CEO. They picked another veteran CFO, and the company's sales are up 25% and a narrower loss than reported a year ago. So just think about how they're framing this paragraph. They're running for the hills, but everything seems like it's in ship shape. Essentially saying, my house is in disarray, all the dishes are done, the laundry is folded, and my wife's boyfriend hasn't come home yet. This is not going to stand. So take away the FUD, take away the fact that people like Quartz are trying to tell you about the earnings here. Bare bones, right? Bare bones, not because the earnings were bad, it's because all they talked about was a solid earnings. And why wouldn't they say it if it speaks for itself? This Bloomberg article we're going to save for a future video, but I wanted to show you that we do some educative indicators here. We've been following the VWAP, which gives us a volumetric weighted average price. This line is usually the dynamic support and resistance that the price action bounces off from, either positively or negatively. The teal lines that we have here are all static resistance and supports that were normally formed by these dynamic indicators here. The EMA here is giving us a sign of macro price movement and momentum, and the moving average gives us a sign of just what the past 2 weeks worth of data is fuzzying out the major spikes and dips of the price movement. So all of these added together combined gives us great signals, but if you did want to be able to pick up one of the best signals in terms of writing his own DD, coming on the show, friend of the show, Austin Tobit, Tobit, is going to be coming on the show tomorrow to talk about his House of Cards 2 and 3. So it goes, I hope you guys are excited for that. And of course, that scared me. Meatball is sensing a hedgie in the comments section. Go find out. And of course, if you guys wanted to be able to get signals for how I bought the dip, that is TradingView with the plugin cheat code algorithm. So go ahead and look up that in the description down below. Gives us buys and sell signals for GameStop and AMC. And if you guys are still looking around for a Melissa Lee shirt, that was the female reporter that talked about naked shorts. Yeah, well, we actually captured her moment on screen at CNBC with a naked shorts shirt. We've been giving them out on raffles during the show, so come on over and have some fun with us. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the money.